Hi, good morning everyone. So in the last session, we have seen how to deploy our Nginx applications and then how to access these applications from outside world, right? So using the concept called Ingress controller, and that too we are using Nginx Ingress controller for our concept. So last time, if you remember, I have registered these domains. Okay, these domains have been registered and they are populating in this particular name service, which means that if I access this particular domains, right, app1.sudhidevops.com and app2.sudhis.com, it is pointing to my public IP address of my servers. Okay, you can see this, the control plane IP address 35 222.198 and 38. Okay, so these have been pointed. I just now changed it, the A record of this, so it will take 600 seconds to populate these particular details. Okay, that's okay, fine. Now what we need to do, okay, last time we have tried accessing these applications, right? Let me try to do once again. I hope this should work. But, and the port number is it is 24431, right? Advanced, proceed. So you can see here, welcome to Sudhir DevOps app 1. So if I want to access app 2, this is the one. So which means that my applications are accessible and I was able to access from anywhere in the geographical location. It's not that it is not a registered, it doesn't mean that it is not a registered domain. The domain has been registered. I already added in my domain register portal, and you can see it is pointing to that particular website. So where I'm able to access my application from outside world. Now this is fine, but this is a insecure communication. So insecure communication, in the sense, you can see here, there is no certificate generated. These are Kubernetes Ingress controller fake certificates, and that certificates are used for our application. Okay, so we have to use some proper certificate, though it is not actually a proper certificate. In outside world, we generate a key, and that key we will generate a CSR, and that CSR will be given to the community, like certificate authority people outside, like disease certs. Okay, let's encrypt or someone, we will try to give them, and we will get the certificate. That is called as a proper registered certificate. But now, since we don't have that flexibility right now, we are trying to use a certificate which is called a self-signed certificate. Means that certificate is signed by your Kubernetes itself. Okay, that is a certificate which I'm trying to generate for app1.sudhidevops.com and app2.sudhidevops.com. Okay, so how to generate that certificates for those domains and how to utilize them in the Ingress controller. Okay, so which means that whatever the Ingress service I have created, right, which means that Ingress rules. So if you go back to the Ingress controller documentation, there if you try to read this application Ingress rules. Okay, so if you see here, now we are trying to access our application in a secured way, which means that I have to generate a certificates. That certificate has to be stored in the form of secrets, and that secrets will be utilized by your Ingress. Okay, so this is what I need to do right now. So how to do that? Okay, what are the steps I need to follow? So let's look into that. That is the readme. Okay, here is a readme. So here is a simple command how to generate a certificates. Okay, so you can see here OpenSSL TLS certificate creation and manual verification. Okay, so you can see the certificates are getting created. One is cert and one is key. That is what we are trying to generate. For whom? On the name of app1.sudhidevops.com actually. As per the previous example, I have given .com, but now it is TLD. Okay, just a second. Okay, let me change it to .com. Okay, because this is my registered domain, app1.sudhidevops.com and app2.sudhidevops.com. Or else, if you want to give other parameters in the subject as well, like your country, state, location, organization, and if you want to give more information, which is not necessary for us right now because we are using a self-signed certificate, it is not that recommended to use right now. Okay, we can generate our own. Once these certificates are generated, how will you store in Kubernetes? Okay, that is so simple, which you already know that we use secrets in order to store sensitive information like certificates, um, these particular tokens, username, passwords, and all, right? That's how we use. So here also we are trying to do the same thing. We are generating a certificates for our domains and we are storing those certificates in the form of secrets. Okay. So let us try to copy paste this and generate a certificates for us. So copy. Here all the links are also available which you can refer. Okay. So let me do that. You can see here, this is my Nginx ingress controllers details. Okay, you can see in the output till here. Where is it? Till here. These are Nginx ingress controller related components. Okay, that is what we have deployed. In our normal namespace, default namespace, we have deployed our application app1 and app2. Okay, so you can see the output. And for these applications, we have created an ingress controller. I created two actually. One is app1.sudhidevops.com, app2.devops.com written in the same file, and one more is like this app1.sudhidevops.com, which is like we have written. Okay. Now once this particular this is done, now we want to what are the ingress has been created, right? So kubectl describe ing. Okay. So it has displaying the both of them. DevOps, Sudhi DevOps hyphen ingress, you can see here app1.sudhidevops.com will go to this particular service, and from this service to the backend application which is running in the pod. That's how it goes. But here a single application is trying to communicate to both of them. Means it is called as path-based routing. Okay. So this is it is a host-based routing and this is called as path-based routing. Okay. So for a single host, we are trying to give two different paths. If a person has given app1.sudhidevops.com slash app1, it will go to this particular service. If as a person has given app1.sudhidevops.com slash app2, it will go to this particular service. Okay. So this is a host-based routing and this is called as path-based routing. Now, whatever we have created here, it is not a secured communication what we are using right now. Okay, from the browser to this particular application what we. So I want to create some proper certificates for this. So how to do that? Okay, so let me store the details in the ingress. Okay, so yeah, let me execute the command. So this command, let's copy. Did I give a proper names? Yes. Okay, done. Copy and then paste it. OpenSSL is a command. Request X509 certificates, nodes, how many days it should be expired, 365 days. After 365 days, it will expire your certificate. And we are generating RSA 2046 encryption, and this is the output of the file which is called as cert, and this is the key file which will get generated, okay, with this particular subject called app1.sudhidevops.com, which means that your certificates will be registered for this domain. Why I'm using domain? Because if tomorrow if IP address got changed, nothing will happen to my certificates. It will accept the request. Okay, if you use a fixed IP address, right, if that IP address got rechanged for that particular website, you cannot control that. Okay, again you have to regenerate a new certificate, which is a headache. So that's the reason I want to go for my certificates with the domain name. Okay, it got generated, right? So now we can see these two files are available. One is app1-ingress-tls.cert, you can see here, and one is another one is app1-ingress-tls.key. Both are got generated. So let me try
Sudhir,
to, yes.
can I put a asterisk here in place of app one in CN entry?
Then you can give yes, of course, why not? Your star
Then
mark,
it will
which you
work
want. Star mark.
for, for all.
So you are trying to generate a certificate for white card entry, right?
Mm-hmm.
So star you can give, but it is not recommended. Okay, you have to generate a specific certificate for the specific subdomain as well. Okay, as per the standards, we should not generate like that. Yes, we can do. Okay,
Okay.
so this is the certificate which I'm generating for app 2. Okay, done. So now my both the certificates are available, keys and certificates are available. Now I want to create a secret, right? So let's go and do that. So in order to create a secret, just take this particular command and execute. copy, paste. So you can see here kubectl create, secret, and then TLS. Why we gave this particular option in secret? You already know there are three types of secrets which we can create: generic, Docker registry, and then TLS. Since we are using a specific to certificates, then it is recommended to use TLS option. Okay, not a generic or not a Docker registry. So you can see here, this is the name which I have assigned, and this is the key path and the cert path. Since I am executing the same command where I have stored my certificates, so then no need to give the full path. I can directly give this. Okay. And one more secret is this. So let's try to copy. Done. So both the secrets have been created. Now what I need to do? Now this particular secret information I have to give in my file. So if you go to the ingress rules, how we have written this TLS section, there under the spec you have written some section called TLS and then host, for which host you are specifying which secret name. Okay, so this is what we have done right now. So it is app1 ingress hyphen TLS, app2 hyphen ingress hyphen TLS, right? So I will just try to modify the existing one. Okay, so kubectl get ing which you have. I want to go with for this. I want to modify this existing ingress with a TLS. So kubectl edit ing slash, let me give the name. Okay, enter. So let me add a section here, right? Of course, we need to write here under the spec itself about the rules. So here is a section. Sorry. Now here for this particular domain, app1. Okay, I'm using a secret called app1 hyphen ingress hyphen TLS, right? There is one more host as well. For both the hosts I have generated two different, right? So then I need to write another section under this host again. It is called as app2 dot sudhir devops dot com. It's not TLD, it's a .com, my mistake. Okay, and then here what I need to give the secret name. So the secret name is for this my certificates which are stored in the name of app2 hyphen ingress hyphen TLS, right? So this is the naming convention which I gave for my search section. If you read this readme as well, where is a naming convention, you can see app1 hyphen ingress hyphen TLS, app2 hyphen ingress hyphen TLS, right? Done. So these names I have specified. Now when you are using this particular domain, it will use this particular secret. Okay, this is how it is. So let's save this and come on. So it is accepted. The way you are editing the section got accepted and it is saved. Okay, now if you look at your ingresses, okay, let me try to do a describe. ing slash you can see there. Okay, where you can see that, you can see here. This is called as TLS termination. Okay, so now this has to happen. So now the Nginx ingress is accepting your TLS communication. So which means that it is using this particular secret, okay, for this particular domain. Okay, and it is using this particular secret for this particular domain. Okay, so Kubernetes knows how to pick that particular certificates. Okay, now let me try to do a refresh. Again, advanced and then proceed. Okay, now if you go there, you can see now issued by whom it is a self-signed certificate. Are you seeing anything like fake certificate, Kubernetes ingress controllers fake certificate? No, right? Now I have generated my own certificate. You can see that 2021 10th 12 12 in the sense 12th 10th month of the 12th is a date actually, so today itself, and it will expire in the next year at the same time. So 1 year, right? 365 days which I have generated. Okay, so this is how it is. Okay, so it will show like this. Why? Because it is not actually signed by the people. Okay, means actual certificate authority. Okay, it is generated by you. Okay, and it is signed by you itself. So it is not a valid one, technically speaking. But generally what we will do, we will generate a key and we'll generate a CSR, and that will be given to the certificate authority people. Okay, let's say certificate authority. Okay, so the certificate authorities is like global sign. Okay, and then we have search security, and then we have disease search, the which is a more popular one than anything else. Okay, so you can use this disease search to send the certificates for you. Okay, so what kind of certificates you want? Promotions or business or basic or multi-domain certificate, which we have talked right now. And white card entry, which here someone has asked, right? I don't know who is that, but white card certificate, which means that you are generating a certificate for all the subdomains. Let's say sudhirdevops.com is a main domain. Okay, for that you will add n number of subdomains, app1, app2 dot, app3 dot, app4 dot, or something. For all those them, they have to use a common certificate. So that is called as white card certificate. Okay, so we can generate our own certificate whichever you want, and that can be utilized. Okay, so I'm not using any certificates since I don't want to purchase it. I'm using a self-signed certificate for this particular demo. That's it, as simple as it is. Okay, so this is how we do. Okay, so every time when you want to add this particular domain, let's say app1.sudhi.com or app2.sudhi.com, what I need to do? The main thing is I need to come to here and I need to modify this, right? See, technically speaking, I have to come here and I have to modify, right? So every time I cannot come here and modify as a user. Let's say, for example, I'm saying, okay, as a user, I cannot come always here and modify this. I want a mechanism where whenever I'm creating some ingress, okay, let's say maybe app 1, app 2, or app 3 for this particular domain. Okay, I'm talking about subdomains or main domains as well. Okay, so whenever I'm adding or whenever I'm creating this particular ingress rules, okay, automatically it has to contact my Kubernetes, has to contact to the GoDaddy and through API calls or something, and it has to add the entry automatically. Is that possible or not? Yes, it is possible. See, the intention is so simple. I want, okay, this particular Kubernetes should control the DNS entries which are getting added in my like domains. Okay, simple. That is my requirement. I want my Kubernetes to have a functionality to add the entries automatically, whatever the ingress I am trying to create. Those entries should be added automatically. A record should be added into this particular DNS zones of my domain. Okay, is that possible or not? Yes, it is possible. Okay, without you interrupting in middle and just adding these entries. Okay, it will be done automatically. How is that possible? With the concept called external DNS in Kubernetes. Okay, so if you want to read about this external DNS, okay, so if you open this particular documentation of GitHub, so you can just read about this particular external DNS. Now this external DNS is the same thing. So it will do the same thing. Either it can communicate to AWS Route 53, which is a DNS service, and Google Cloud DNS as well. There are so many things which are supported. Okay, Azure DNS as well. If you are controlling your domain in Azure DNS, then you can do it. So you can see how many DNS providers are supported here. Okay, I want to use GoDaddy right now in my example. Why? Because my domain is registered here. Okay, you can see this sudhirdevops.com. This is where my domain is registered. Okay, now how I can add my Kubernetes to communicate to this particular GoDaddy and add my entries. So click on this. I'll tell you how to follow. Okay, so just go back. You can go through docs, okay, tutorials, and then if you scroll down, these are the examples for each and every provider. I'm using GoDaddy right now, so godaddy.md. Okay, if you scroll down, they will show you the example how to do it. Okay, so let us do from our end. Okay, so what I need to deploy? First of all, you need to have a GoDaddy website account, and you need to have some registered domain, and then which should look like this at the end. Okay, so actually you will come to the domain manager, and here you will select this manage zones, and you'll give your website name. It will open this one. Okay, this is where you will add your name servers, a record, mx record, so many things. Okay, so many things will be added here. Now my Kubernetes should have the functionality to add the entries over here, a record. Okay, so how to do that? For that, I need to deploy some particular application to do that. So which is like a webhook. Okay, so that is nothing but, first of all, you need to use GoDaddy document in order to give the API key and API secret. Okay, if you follow this particular documentation, it will show you how to generate a API key actually. Okay, I already did this. Okay, if you record this, like if you go through this particular documentation, you will come to know how to generate. You can see it is open my login details. If you go to the API keys, okay, you can see here I've already generated this key and this particular secret. Both have been done. See, once it is generated, you cannot see the secret actually. You can see only key, but you cannot see it. And while generating this particular API key, try to use production. Okay, don't use OTE, try to use production. Okay, so once this particular concept is done right, it will give you a key and secret. So try to store that in somewhere. Why? Because this is useful for you to give here. We need to give here. Okay, so we have to do that. So I already did that. So my particular YAML file is already there. So we are using RBAC base. RBAC in the sense rollback access control we are giving for this particular application to communicate to our Kubernetes cluster. So here is the important section what we need to discuss. So the application which I'm trying to deploy is external DNS image which I'm using to create this. Okay, but this particular image which we are using is a secure private image actually. When you try to download, it will fail. So that's the reason I'm using another image which is from Bitnami repository. Okay, I'm using that particular image. Let me show you. External DNS. Where is it? Huh. So GoDaddy external DNS. If you try to see that, anyway, I will delete this access key and secret key. Okay, so you can see this. I'm using this particular image. Okay, so I will update the documentation as well today. So we are using this particular image for this particular process. Okay, so change this particular image. If you try to use this image, it will fail to download. Okay, it will fail actually. So I've seen it. Okay, source in the sense, for what source you are using this external DNS. Is it for service? For service, we are using core DNS, Kubernetes related core DNS. I want to use it for Ingress. So that's the reason you can see here I have written for Ingress. The source is for Ingress. Domain filter is actually optional, it is not mandatory. Okay. If you feel that this is the only domain which I am trying to manage in Ingress for my subdomains, then we have to give this. If you have multiple domains that you have to specify explicitly for external DNS application to go and modify, then you have to specify. That will add some fine tuning, right? So if you want to add another domain in this filter, then you need to give comma. Okay, in my case it is sudhidevops.com. For this only I am adding my Ingress subdomains, right? So for that reason I give this. If you don't give this, it will accept all of them, but I don't want that. I want to control it. Okay, and the provider to whom you are trying to communicate, it is GoDaddy. Okay, how will you try to communicate? With this API key and with this secret key. Okay, so this is how it is. Now let's create this. So it is created in default namespace. So kubectl create -f GoDaddy. Okay, it got created. It created service account, cluster role binding, and deployment. Let's verify whether these are running or not. So kubectl all -o void. You can see my application is running. If you try to see the logs of it, logs -f, and then you can see it got communicated to my GoDaddy actually. Okay, you can see it has fetched the records. You can see here 9 endpoints have been found, which means that one zone found. You can see one zone found, and 9 records. Actually 9 in the sense this one, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. We have so many records actually. Okay, it is trying to pull all the each and every record. Okay, so you can see here SMTP details it has pulled. Okay, secure server, you can see SMTP secure server.net, it pulled it. So it is trying to communicate to my GoDaddy without any issue. Okay, always if something goes wrong, whether it is an authentication issue or something, try come here and just check it. Okay, so this is done. So my application was installed successfully and it is running. Now I'm good to go, right? So let me remove these entries, or let's say I will try to create another ingress. Okay, so ingress rules, okay, or path based rules only. Okay, so here instead of nginx you can say nginx app1 nginx app2. Okay, I'm trying to use external DNS, so that's the reason I gave a name called external DNS ingress. Okay, now I will not add any entries over here, but see how it will get communicated. Why? Because now it is a new subdomain. Generally what I need to do after creating this particular ingress controller, I need to go here and add the a record for that domains. What is that? Nginx app1 nginx app2 for that as a subdomains. Once I added, it will take 600 seconds to resolve. Okay, but now I am not going to add this particular entries manually in the GoDaddy DNS records. Okay, I don't want to manage. Kubernetes should manage that. Okay, that's the reason why we deployed this external DNS. Okay, so let's save this and come out. Okay, so let's create that. So kubectl create -f ingress rules. So it got created. So kubectl get ing. You can see there it got created. Okay, so I'm not using certificates for this, please ignore for that. Okay, because I don't want to generate any certificate right now. Okay, anyways, you can see here this is the one. Okay, now let's verify the logs. Okay, you can see here it will take some time. Okay, maybe 1 or 2 minutes to add the entries actually. Okay, let's wait and see what it has to do. It has to go here and add the records. Let me try to refresh this. It might add it or not. Let me check. Here I don't see. I think yeah, it is getting added. You can see now. You can see here the records got been added. You can see this nginx app1, but here the problem is it is adding my private IP address actually. Actually, this is not a private IP address. It is my node compute plane IP address. If you see this, where is that? Where is my node? Here if you see 10.128.0.3. Why? Because your nginx ingress controller is running on that particular node, and for your nginx ingress controller you have given node port. If you have given the load balancer, okay, and the load balancer is having some IP, that would have been stored actually. Okay, this is the only thing what I cannot show it practically, but it is almost done. You can see the entries which got added. Okay, instead of adding this public domain, it added this private domain, private IP actually. Okay, so that is okay. It depends upon how you deploy your nginx ingress controller. Service for nginx ingress controller is created with node port. That's why it looks like this. If you have created with load balancer, okay, that load balancer will have some public IP, right? That public ID will be added as a record here. Okay, I just want to show you how this external DNS works. This is how it is. So this will simplify your job. Okay, now if I go and if I try to run some ns lookup and all, okay, you can see the entries have been added. So let me save this. It's already done now. Okay, so ns lookup nginx app1, sorry, you can see there it is resolving to this IP. That's okay. Whether it is a private or public, forget about it. Okay, but this is how it is. Okay, in this way, your entries are added automatically. The problem you can see here. This is the address which got registered. That's the reason it is adding it. Okay, but technically, it should be a public IP address, which means that what are the nginx ingress controller you have deployed, it has to be that it has to be exposed through a service called load balancer. Okay, that will simplify your job. Okay, so that will help you. You can see here this particular Nginx Ingress controller is deployed and it is using a node port. Since this, why it has not taken controller IP address? Because as per this particular thing, your pod is running on compute node. That compute node's IP address has taken as a IP address for this. Okay, and that's the reason why your external DNS has added a record of that particular IP. Okay, but here we have to understand the concept is we are not doing any manual updates in the DNS records. Automatically it is doing it. Now if I delete my ingress, whether it will delete my entries or not, let's see. Okay, so kubectl delete, okay, -f ingress rules. Done. So this got deleted. Okay, if I try to execute a ingress, the section has been removed. Okay, if you try to check the logs of your external DNS, see discard record, it is trying to remove it actually. Let's see. If I try to refresh this, if you try to check the logs of your ingress controller as well, sorry. Oh, what happened? Okay. Yes. So let me show you the logs of this as well. So it will be so clear. It is there in the namespace called -n ingress -nginx. Okay. You can see here the DNS records have been added and removed. You can see this. So it is saying you that we are just adding these entries, removing these entries. That is what it is trying to tell you. Now you can see if you try to refresh now, I should not see these entries, right? Let me refresh. Because my ingress is deleted. You can see now. Are you able to see those records? No. I've scrolled down as well. You can see there is no record at all. Okay, so it will manage. For me as an administrator, it is no need to take a headache of adding these entries, going to that DNS zones and adding these entries for each and every domain. What customers are trying to deploy the applications. No need to worry too much about that right now. So it is automated. This process has been automated with the help of external DNS. Okay, so this is how it is. So if you want to read the documentation, it is clearly written with examples. Okay, just we have to modify according to our requirement. Where you are trying to register your domains, everything it depends on that. Since I registered my actual domain in GoDaddy, so that's the reason. Okay, so for my GoDaddy application to be communicated for my Kubernetes cluster, I'm using that secret key and secret and the key. Okay, API key and API secret. So with the help of them, I'm trying to communicate to my application. Okay, so this is what is happening in the background. Okay, I can delete this entries right now. Why? Because I've already shown the experiment, right? I can delete. So technically, if you try to create, it looks like this. Okay, you need to give some name, select which one, environment type, production, next, that's it, done. It will show you the key and you have to do it. Okay, let's say, right, next. You can see here, these are the key and secret. Okay, if you say like got it, so means once you saved it, then only you need to click on got it. Once it is done, it will generate. Okay, why? Because you cannot edit in the sense you cannot see that actually. You can only change the name of this key, that's it. You cannot see the secret of this particular key. Okay, so just be careful with that. That's the only thing which we need. Okay, so this is all about your DNS and their management. Okay, so let me try to save this. Done. Okay, I have deleted that, right? So let me delete the application as well. So I don't want this anymore. Done. Right. So I'm trying to do a cleanup. That's it. Okay, done.